Hey all, I want to talk about applying for jobs at small companies and small organizations in this video. Over the past 10 years or so, I've worked as a software engineer at really small startups and really small NGOs where the team sizes typically range from 5 to around 20. So these are small teams. This is different from big organizations like big tech, where you'd have hundreds or thousands of engineers. So for the rest of the video, I'll be talking about it from this perspective. And um, over the past 10 years, I've been given the small sizes of the teams, I've either been directly involved with bringing on new team members or indirectly involved with the decision making around who to onboard onto the team. So I wanted to share a little bit about what I've discovered, what I've learned, and hopefully this will help in your job search. I think before we get started, if I'm to summarize this whole video into just one message, that would be just put in a bit of effort. Um, you would be surprised at how little effort people put into these applications. And it's really frustrating as someone who has to review hundreds of these applications. And I guess if you don't put in any effort, you really don't care about this open position, which means this is not your concern. But just put in a bit of effort. If you're not interested in the role, just don't apply. But otherwise, put in a minimum of just the minimum effort. You will know it when you do it, I guess. And again, just to clarify the difference between small tech and big tech, and I'm talking from the perspective of small tech here, which I'm using as the opposite of big tech. In small tech, small teams; big tech needs no explanation. Um, the first thing that I wanted to bring up is the use of LLMs. I think as a stance, I like to think don't use LLMs when you're writing your job application, filling out a form online and stuff like that. But I guess you can use it if you are like for brainstorming as opposed to using it for copy and pasting. This is an example of a message I've seen potentially hundreds of times since January this year, which is 4 months ago, 3 months ago at this point. The the person clearly took the job listing, put it in a large language model, and said, "Write my application," and copied and pasted this exact statement that I'm showing here. Dear hiring manager at blank, I am excited to apply for blank. I believe my experience as blank, and it goes on and on and on. I've seen this probably 100 times, maybe 50 to 100 times. Just don't do this. This is the least effort I've ever seen. You just asked an LLM to write it for you, and you copy and pasted it without reading it. Um, a fun way I found to handle this is I literally found myself weighing more, giving more weight to responses that sound human. And these are responses where there are some spelling mistakes, some grammatical issues, long running sentences, the whole shebang. We're actually not looking for writing majors or English majors anyways. We're just looking for someone who knows how to do their job and is a responsible adult. So just don't copy and paste. Just don't do this. Or do. I'm not your dad. You can go crazy. The second thing, other than not copying and pasting from LLMs, which is the absolute least effort you can do, the second thing is maybe to give you a sneak peek of what happens behind the scenes. Typically, one of two things happens. Either the current employees are overwhelmed, or there is new specialized work that's coming in. So an example of being overworked is either you're migrating to a new platform, or a team member is leaving and you're looking to replace them so that the existing team members aren't overworked, or there's specialized work coming on. The organization is taking on a new project and they need someone with very specific skill set. Now, what happens is that the team decides we need to hire somebody. The technical team in small organizations, the technical team gets to decide what the job posting looks like. And sometimes when you have marketing departments and HR departments and all these different things, the job postings signal to more people than the applicants, so those can go kind of crazy. But in small organizations, we write the job posting with the intention to fill that position. There's a real need for the role as it's stated. So if the job posting asks for a JavaScript developer with experience with React, or insert your favorite view library here or framework, this is exactly what the role is looking for. These job postings it's not common to have job postings from small organizations where they overly inflate certain things, like looking for, I don't know, 20 years of experience in Rust, which currently nobody, at least I think nobody should have that. So yeah, they will be very specific, asking for a very specific thing. So when you fill out the job application, you are filling out for a role that is actually open and not signaling to investors or things like that. Okay, that's kind of behind the scenes. There's an actual void that needs to be filled. Okay, so all you have to do is put in a bit of effort and your application will stand out. Trust me. Okay, the next thing is in this case, the person reviewing the job applications, I don't know you. And unfortunately, I don't care about you. So try not to blend in with the rest of the applications. A small job listing we recently had got hundreds of applications, and some of the other ones that I help review have thousands of applications. Surely you don't expect me to, or the person reviewing these, to read them all with the same attention and the same care and the same love. It's just not humanly possible. So we start filtering them, and things that are average, they kind of blend in, and you forget whose application stood out when you're in your 50th one and you're reviewing it. And sometimes this could take weeks. And yes, you keep score of things on the side, but then everything just starts to blend together. And the ones that remain are the ones that stood out. Believe it or not, it's better to have a really bad application, at least from my perspective. It's better to have a really bad application than to have an average application if what you're trying to look for is staying in the reviewer's mind for a long amount of time. And the reason that this type of application, the LLM ones, I call them bad, but the reasons these are really bad is because there's a ton of them. There are a ton of applications like these, and they all just blend in as well. You don't remember them. You remember the first one, the second one, the third one, and then it's just mush. So I don't know you, I don't care about you, and if you want to stand out, you should try not to blend in. And you do this by making sure you communicate what differentiates you from I guess from the rest of the candidate pool. And how do you do this if you don't know what the rest of the candidate pool is? You make your application specific to the role. Okay, like the basic things. Make your application specific to the role. If the role is looking for a JavaScript developer with React experience, talk about JavaScript and React. Don't talk about anything else. Okay. If they're hiring for a front-end engineer, talk about front-end engineering. Highlight your experience with whatever the job posting is talking about. This will at least let a reviewer know that you've read the job posting. So many applications, it looks like they didn't read the job posting. It's the same thing, copy and pasted. And I get that it's easier to do this and just spam different openings. But if you've really targeted a small organization that you want to work at, put in the effort, and I think it works out better than you can imagine. Next thing that I want to touch on is that resumes suck, and just resumes are broken. That's probably what I should have said here. I'll add it here. If I can spell broken. So resumes are broken because Actually, I would say the whole system is broken, and I really don't know how to help anyone with this. So I guess here goes. But they're broken because you're provided with a template, and you'd go online, you'd find a template, and unfortunately, everybody else is also going online and finding templates, and everybody else is the templates they're using are also copies of other templates, and it all just pretty much looks very much the same. And if you're reviewing a stack of applications, it's really, really hard to stand out that way. And it's an unfortunate reality of resumes. um, Remember, average is boring. Don't be average, and hence don't be boring. um, I counted over 50 different resumes that say this: I am a passionate blank. Okay. This is great, but everybody is a passionate blank. I'm a passionate front-end engineer. I'm a passionate developer. I'm a passionate this. I'm a passionate that. That's great, but it doesn't really help your case. In fact, I would venture to say it hurts your case, because there's no evidence for your passion in the first place. Second, it's clear that everybody's passionate, so this is not a standout feature about anything. The other thing that I've seen a lot of is I am a mission-driven blank, or I aim to achieve company vision in your resume. Awesome. Doesn't help. Literally doesn't help. And I know it takes a long time to create to craft your resume and to write it well, but I just wish resumes were shorter and they literally just said the skills that you have and your work experience. But again, take this part of the advice with a grain of salt. This is how I would wish the resumes would be. Doesn't mean that other people would wish the same thing. But yeah, I just wish there were skill sets, and don't pad your skills. There's no need to list 100 skills, and in there are things like HTML, CSS, SAS, SCSS. It's like calling out a car for having brakes. If the job position is for front-end engineer, these are a given. We expect you to know these things. So share what you've built specifically. And when you're talking about your work experience, don't be vague. Um, I don't know what to do with statements like, I led the team to a successful deployment of our API endpoints. That's great for you. Even things like, I developed the internal React dashboard used by hundreds of internal team members. That's awesome. It's your word against, I guess, the opposite of your word, but there's no evidence for that. You could just be making that up. And a lot of people make up stuff in their resumes. I'm sure you don't, but a lot of people make up stuff on their resumes, and you just can't trust anything in there. So you have to build stuff. Show, don't tell. If you say you know how to build React applications, build a React application and put it on your portfolio or on your GitHub or this and that. You're applying for a web developer role, but you don't have a website. Kind of a red flag. It's okay that you don't have a website, that's fine, but it's definitely more validating when you have a website that at the bottom doesn't say the creator of the template. So just the small things, the minimum things. If you say you're passionate about digital health, show me what you've built with digital health. Show me articles you've written. Maybe you have to show what you've done to prove that you know what you are doing. And I understand that it's not always possible, but I think we can make an effort. Okay. Next thing is, again, the bare minimum. Open the website. Open the company website. I would say I've seen many job applications where it's clear that the applicant doesn't know A, the role they're applying for, or even B, it feels like they don't understand what the company does. If you're applying to a company that does digital health, work digital health into the text of the application. Okay, if you're applying for, better yet, if you know or you suspect you know the technology stack that they use, have that in the application. It's again the bare minimum. Open the website of the company or organization, Find out what they've done before. If it's an online video editing tool, talk about your experience with video editing tools. Talk about challenges that you've solved with respect to transferring multimedia over the internet. This is where you get to actually specifically talk about the position, okay? Or just open the website. That's the bare minimum. Next, and a more practical tip is to, I can't believe this is a tip, have, especially for technologists, have a GitHub account. Literally just have a GitHub account. It seems straightforward, but again, bare minimum. Have a GitHub account. If you have one, try not to have it be blank because you're trying to show, not tell. So what I would do as a reviewer is I would open a candidate's GitHub page, and I try to actually invest time and go through the GitHub repository. And there's certain things I'm looking for. One, is there any content on there? Two, do you contribute to any large open source projects that I might have heard of? Three, do you have a ton of repositories that are forks where nothing has happened on them? This is a common trend where you see forks that happened within 2 weeks of the job posting. So the person is trying to pad their GitHub repository. And personally speaking, there's really flowery and colorful GitHub homepages out there. Those are great, but really, I don't know if that's helpful to have like all the colors and all the different icons. If that's what you want to do with your GitHub profile, that's what you do. I don't know if that helps in any way whatsoever. It just tells me you know how to decorate a GitHub page. It also tells me somehow you have a lot of time to do that, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with having a lot of time. It could also mean that you don't have other things to do. A lot of great engineers, from my experience, have 101 side things that they're working on. They have a ton of ideas that they're trying to work on. Many of them fail, but that's fine. It's a great way to spend your time. Or they're hired somewhere and don't have time to work on their GitHub homepage. So do what you do with your homepage. I don't think it makes a difference. But don't have an empty GitHub repository. Last one is not to be so easily influenced. And I added this last minute to this video because someone we were interviewing was very proud to say that they don't write tests. And it was clear that this is something an influencer said, that maybe offhand comment, or maybe they really meant it. Don't be so easily influenced, okay? Whichever famous blogger or YouTuber is telling you to do certain things, they will not be there while you're actually working and producing your work. So try to identify what actually works and what doesn't work. Take opinions, there's nothing wrong with that, but don't be so easily influenced, and don't make bold statements if you actually haven't lived them. The person who told me that they don't write tests because tests are useless is fresh out of university. I don't know what they've done because their GitHub repository is empty. Yeah, just have experience. And when I pressed him on why do you think tests are not helpful, there's no answer. He just struggled clearly to come up with an answer. But yeah, don't be so easily influenced. Think for yourself. It's hard to do. We all fall for things sometimes. But yeah, that's it for this video. I think I'll upload another video in the future as I learn more things about this. But until then, good luck on your job hunt.